Hi everyone, it's Jan with What You Make It, and I am excited to share this technique with you today. I love watercolor, and I particularly like how really great watercolorists put lots of colors that you would be surprised to see used together and create these really bright, colorful images. And I found a way for those of us that aren't necessarily predisposed to do that well, to come up with our own version of it, and I'm calling it Confetti Watercolor Technique. And this is just where we're going to end up, and I'm going to show you it is super easy. Let me share with you the tools and supplies I'm going to use. To begin with, I suggest that you get some line art because we're going to be watercoloring in it. You want open images. I'm using reinkers today, but you could use distress stains or any other watercolor you like. I'm going to use some archival ink, and I'm definitely going to be using Versamark for embossing and some white embossing powder. Very important to use watercolor paper, particularly since we're going to be doing this watercolor technique. Want to do that, and a watercolor brush. Really easy supplies. So to begin with, I just put out several drops of my reinkers. Knew what colors I wanted to work with eventually, but I am definitely using some brighter colors than my watercolor image is going to be. This is the way that I get that kind of randomness in. Now, my first thing that I did was I tried spattering it. And you see that you get a really cool background, but it definitely has a spattered look as opposed to color being placed intentionally. Now, my intentionality of color is it looks not exactly right. So the way that I did it is I just took a clean paintbrush with clean water and I dropped it. I didn't splatter it, I dropped it. And if you can see, there's little dots of water, there's big dots of water, and I'm going to use those. You want to work with those dots of water while they're wet and go in and pick up some of your watercolor, and you want to vary the intensity of it. Sometimes you want to pick up that ink without a lot of water in it because it's going to get a little diluted in those colors. But I'm just using the tip of my watercolor brush to go in and touch that water drop, the surface of it, and let the ink or the watercolor go down into that water droplet. And sometimes I'm going to go in and I'm going to put the first color in and then maybe go back and add one of the other colors to it. But you can see I'm getting kind of that overall confetti look that I really love. And the key for me to doing this is to put these spots of color down before I actually start trying to accomplish the watercolor. Because if they're there, I'm going to have to work with them as opposed to trying to figure out, okay, I'm doing this watercolor, where do I put this kind of random drop of bright pink? I put some bright pink and I put some orange into these spots, and I'm going to get to work with them. Now, you'll notice that I'm going to show you this other card. I love it. I really do love it, and I'm going to use it eventually, but you can see we get a totally different look to begin with. I actually like both versions. You pick the one that you like the most. One of the things about letting that ink dry is that it gets darker around the edges. So while I was making it, I went ahead and made a whole lot of other things. I suggest when you're working on a technique like this, make several pieces. You never know what you will end up making. So now let's get to the watercoloring part of this. And you want to kind of look at your piece that you have created with the confetti watercolor technique and decide which way you want it to look and where you're going to place your images. Now, it's going to be a little hard for you to see what I'm doing here, but this is my quick and easy way of not having to use masks. So what I do is I put the first stamped image down, and I'm going to use the largest of this floral stamp, and this is from a Paper Tray ink. I believe it's True Friends, or Friends Till the End is the name of that stamp set, Friends Till the End. So I'm going to do my stamping and embossing 1 or 2 images at a time, so that if I go ahead and do the heat set with this, I can go back in and stamp something right next to it and even overlap it a little bit, and can use a soft brush that I'll show you here in just a second to brush away any place that it overlaps the first one. Just saved me a lot of time. I was creating a lot of these, and just using that brush to get the places where it overlapped allowed me to just keep moving and do lots of stamping. Here you can see a little up close the line art with the white detail that you get. And for me, that was the thing that just made it super, super simple. Now I'm going to show you the watercolor here. I'm going to turn on some music and let you just watch the process, and I'll put a few little notes on the screen so you can, if there's something important, that a detail of what I was doing. Enjoy, and I'll be back when we've finished. Best time with this whole technique. I love the look of the bright colors mixed in with my watercoloring, and I just went to town with it. I created all kinds of things. I This is the finished card I made from the piece that you saw me making, but I didn't stop there. I ended up making little tags that went together, so eventually I gave this card to a friend, and the little gift tag was an extra piece that I tucked in to share with her. This was a birthday card that I made for one of Royce's aunts, and I made her a little bookmark and made a little and I stamped the inside of it, and then the bookmark went in with the card that we sent to her, and the envelope, I put this little label on the outside of it, just dressing it up. Like I said, I made a lot of these, and on this one I cut them out. I fussy cutted them and did another one where I laid it over one of my layered backgrounds. So I ended up with lots of cards with this particular technique, and just think that they are so pretty and little works of art. I know that you will have fun trying this for yourself. I appreciate you stopping by and hanging out with me today while we did this confetti watercolor technique. I'd love to hear from you if you try it. So send me an instant message or a private message or something and let me know what you've done. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe. That's the way I will be able to let you know when I have uploaded a new video to share with you. And as always, please follow me on Instagram, Pinterest, Facebook, and Twitter. I tend to show little sneak peeks of what I'm working on there, and we can have a little more interaction. I would love to follow you back and see what you're up to. Guys, I hope you will try this. It's so fun. I love the results. They're different every time, but it's so fun, and it's very very inspiring for you to even come up with what you want to do with all of the great little pieces that you'll create. Come back and see me again soon. I'll have a new tutorial up soon, and in the meantime, please be sure and save some time for creative play. I'll see you soon.